to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check, waifu, waifu. My telly man, is that you?
Born Fly, we here. What's up?
This is episode 208 of Mic Check Waifu Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Lube Complex and Don'tTalkShop.com. It's also brought to you by Patreon, patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu Waifu, where you can get early access to the video versions of this podcast, access to the After Story podcast, watch-alongs, read-alongs, trailer reviews, etc., etc. Sorry, we didn't get that One Piece trailer up. It's going to be up by the time you're hearing this for real this time. So be ready for that. And make sure you guys, please be excited for the rest of the content that we got coming there. The show, Mic Check Waifu Waifu, couldn't be done without our Patreon producers. Shout out to our Patreon producers, Dre, the GOAT G, Johnny from Shogo High, Cat the Pro from Chaotic Culture Podcast, Explicitly from explicitly.com, Monique Williams, Nachi, and Saphir. Thank you so much for producing this and many other episodes of the podcast. We truly appreciate you and couldn't do it without you. It means the everlasting world to us. On you guys just keeping the lights on. Make sure you go to youtube.com/@Mic Check Waifu Waifu and subscribe for us. We're trying to get our YouTube numbers up so we can do a proper live stream, get some support there as well, because episode 216 is coming up extremely fast. So that's the one that we gonna treat as the special episode. You know how most podcasts do 200 or episode 100 of their special ones? We're doing 216 for area code purposes.
You already know. I'm excited about it. I'm excited.
Me too. Yeah, man. Tell, before we get into the whole rigmarole of the show, we got a big show for you today. I want to announce at the start that we are reviewing Demon Slayer Season 3, the Swordsmith Village arc. So if you haven't seen that, come back to this episode after the review. But before we do that, we're going to touch on some shows that finished up for the spring season and go from there. But before we get into that, Tell, how you feeling? What's up? What's been up?
I'm good, bro. Getting so y'all know I be working out every once in a while, but I've been getting my numbers up, right? Since the competition, I haven't been eating as much protein as I was beforehand, and it's been harder to get back to that eating. But because I've been eating a little bit better, let's not say better, more, I'm able to get my numbers up, but I'm also maintaining, the physique. So it's kind of dope. It's kind of dope to know what you're doing and watch it stay like how you planned it. Yeah. It's kind of something I'm very, very prideful about right now. Right. But I love it. But yeah, we good, bro. It's the kids are doing amazing. Alani, which is my smallest one, my baby. I call her my Cinny Mini because she's the only one in the house that's got the same skin tone as me. And she already, she all over mommy all the time, but I swear she make my faces. So I love seeing that because it's like all three of them really look like me. Yeah. And they just got some features of their mom, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. They're my babies. How you doing, Polo?
That's huge, man. That's huge. A lot better. A lot better. I did want to say I had a rough few weeks. But I wanted to just give a special shout out to everybody that reached out on Twitter, because for the first time ever, I decided to share something personal. And I decided to share that's something personal because I feel like there's somebody, it could be one person, it don't matter, that needed to see that. And that was just me, because again, I don't like to get too personal unless it's the after story, but I'm going to share here because I did it on Twitter. Depression and anxiety runs in my family. It's always has, between my mother, my sister, me. We just always had this issue. But with me, I like to hold it in as much as possible. I like to put on the strongest facade of the emotions that I feel when I'm down in the dumps, or I like to sleep it off, or I like to just kind of game it off and just kind of put on that mask and be me without feeling like me. And it's not healthy. It got to the point where I was to a point that I've only been 3 times in my life, and that's feeling like I was better off not here. And again, if you need help, I'm gonna put the National Suicide Hotline in the show notes or in the description of this video. But I do want to say, like, it's been the worst feeling you can possibly have. And I just want to say the best thing you could do, shout out to my mom, because whenever I get to that point, the last person I try to talk to is my mom, because I don't want to stress her out, because I know she don't need that. But every time I talk to her, it fills me up with just so much regret for even having those thoughts. Because again, there's somebody that always love you. There's somebody that always needs you. There's somebody that always wants you to be here, no matter how bad you're feeling. Even if you feel like a burden or whatever the case may be, just talk to somebody. Because I promise you, it'll help. It'll always help if you just talk to somebody, anybody, no matter who that is. If you need it, just talk. But I do want to say thank you to everybody that reached out and showed love for that. And I had to share that, because I think it's very, very, very important that whenever we get like this, to just talk, because that literally saved my life. For the 3 times that I felt like that, it saved my life. So, yeah, I'm sorry to bring that up, because this is an anime podcast. We come to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CDT with a brand new episode of Mic Check Waifu. We are still going strong, and it ain't gonna never stop. So, yeah, let's get into it, Telle.
Let's do it.
Let's start by what's up?
Nah, let's not start by talking about anything other than this, like we always do. What's your episode of the week, brother?
Yeah. Good question.
I know it wasn't as much.
It wasn't much. It wasn't as much.
You got some stuff that's episode of the week quality.
I'm gonna try to only mention one thing, because I want to mention 2, but that's cheating. So I'm gonna go. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Galaxy Next Door.
Okay, I'm glad you picked that, because I didn't want to pick that. My episode of the week is Insomniacs After School. So much delivery. Yeah, it was a wonderful episode of both those 2 shows.
Obviously, for the spoiler talk this week, we're gonna talk about a Galaxy Next Door that wrapped, and we're gonna talk about Insomniacs After School, why that didn't wrap. That's gonna replace Demon Slayer, since Demon Slayer is gone, and Hell's Paradise, of course, which was another fucking fire of an episode. So there's a lot for us to discuss this week outside of the review, and I can't wait to do a review. It's been so long since our last review, man.
It's been a minute.
What was our last review?
Oh man,
was it Summertime Rendering?
It might have been. Yeah.
Summertime Rendering was our last review, and spoilers, I got a 10. So
not a spoiler. If you listen, you know it's got a 10.
It's got a 10. Yeah, for sure.
And it didn't have a choice.
Yep, it was our anime of the year 2022 too. So yeah, easily one of the best shows I've ever seen. Yeah, man, great episodes of the week. So before we get into the review of Demon Slayer, we like to have a little topic and a discussion of the stuff that wrapped. Since the spring is literally wrapping this week, by the time you're hearing this, most of the shows will be wrapped. This will be the final week of the spring season. What are some standouts? Because we are going to go into full detail of everything spring wise and the start of summer next week. But this week we're going to do just kind of general thoughts of the shows that wrapped so far. Standouts for spring of shows that wrapped. Or not standouts. Stuff that you hated.
Well, yeah. So I was going to say I got 2 standouts. One that I didn't like. And then one that was like amazing. I gotta check this first though. All right, cool.
Only the shows that rap though. So
yeah. Cool. So in terms of standouts from what I'm looking at right now, that's already wrapped, and just one that I really want to talk about this week in general, which I hope this counts because I feel like it's not a returning season, right? Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess it can count because it ended up wrapping this season, even though it was from 2 seasons ago or last season.
Yeah, technically it wasn't spring. So I mean, I don't want to. I do want to talk about that one because that episode that we got was episode of the week worthy. It was an amazing wonderful episode. Sure. That's been an amazing season. I was not expecting Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, unbelievably good.
So I gotta give that props where it's due. But hear me out, and I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad because I know we can expect more from this. It's just more of like Ancient Magus Bride season 2. Not a bad season by any sense of the word, but it was just okay. You know what I mean?
And to be fair, though, it's only the first core of this season. So
yes. So I and the way that this part of the season wrapped up, it feels like you obviously can expect more, right? Mm-hmm. But it was a lot of it felt like I was just following Harry Potter through school. Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, I loved it more than I think you did. Because of the simple fact is, I don't know, maybe it's just because I feel I'm more strictly like slice of life than anything else nowadays. Mm-hmm. But I love that. I love the aspect of the mystery between it. I didn't get to finish it yet, but that's going to be finished this week, obviously. But
it's very easy to finish. It's not, like I said, it's not bad by any way, shape, or form.
Right.
It was just okay. You know what I mean?
Something that was pretty hard to finish was Your Sleeper.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah, Your Sleeper, Summoned to Another World for a Second Time.
That was dog water.
It was rough. It started decently, and then it got very middling in the middle, and then got bad towards the end. Like it was a segment of the first 3 was fine, next 3 was final 3 was or final 4 or 5 or whatever it was bad. It was just bad.
Yeah.
I tried to give it love, but I just couldn't. I couldn't make up for the awfulness, the mediocrity that show was.
In its entirety.
So that's when that was a standout that was bad. A standout that was really, 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 really good. Highly underrated show. I'm talking almost quintessential, quintuplest kind of quality of a show. And that's the Cafe Terrace and its goddesses, man. This show is funny. It's heartwarming. It's super, super entertaining in a way that I think it would have got more love if it didn't have that ecchi tag, because as the ecchi is very minuscule in the show. It's just about the relationship between this grandson of the former cafe owner and these girls who live with his grandmother for the time being. And the small stories that you will get are sad, they're heartwarming, they're beautiful. The girls' personalities are extremely different to where they don't collide too much. It's a very pleasant show. This was definitely one of my favorite shows this season because it was just that good for me. Luckily, season 2 is already announced, so there's more to come of it. I'm super excited to see that because I did not think it would get a season 2 because of the simple fact is not many people are watching it. Not many people are talking about it. It does have a 69 on Annie list, which I mean, I think it should be higher than that. I think it should be about a good 75. It's that good.
The 69 is still a solid watch. You know what I mean?
Absolutely a solid watch.
Absolutely hate, even if it's not great.
Right. And to put that into perspective, shows that are getting more attention, discussion, like My Home Hero, which was a terrible show, is a 67%.
Oh my goodness.
And it shouldn't even be that high, to be honest. But yeah, it's just, man, I love the Cafe Terrace and its goddess. It was a pleasant surprise. Every time I turned it on, it was something I wasn't expecting and something quite enjoyable. I don't want to say what happened at the end of the last episode, but what they did was so quintessential quintuplets that it was like, you motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, you motherfuckers.
That actually sounds really good.
Yeah, it was that deep. Fucking crazy. Kind of blew my mind, but that was a pleasant surprise there. And then another one for me was the second season of KnY. I love this show. It's a fucking palate cleanser. It was a simul dub, so I was able to watch it dubbed and put it on and relax. A nice silly rom-com with a great cast of characters. I do believe that these are another one of my favorite couples. I think, even though I think, The Galaxy Next Door is my new favorite couple. But I did enjoy it. I enjoy every bit of it. Any other shows that rap that you enjoyed?
Well, there's one that I want to touch on briefly. But I want to talk about it next week in more detail. Mm-hmm. Vinland Saga season 2.
Well, that's from 2 seasons ago, so we can talk about that now.
I mean, okay. All right. So,
what you feel?
I don't hate Thorfinn, but I hate Thorfinn, if that makes sense.
No.
So it's like, I love that he's made this character change and he's so devout about it, right? Like, I love that. It's like his earnestness to stick by his guns, I rock with. Mm-hmm. I hate the whole process we had to do to get here.
Yeah, okay. All right. Now I'm with you, because at first I wasn't. But now I'm 100% with you, because I feel the same exact way. The process fucking sucked. It sucked for about 95% of it.
Yeah. And it makes sense in a sense, because he had to go through these trials and tribulations to get here. But really, I feel like, if we're being entirely real, we missed years of these trials and tribulations, because technically he was a slave for several years before Einar even got there. So it's like there's a lot that we missed in that time. And I feel like some of this could have been like superseded if they had done the pacing for that specific beginning part better. Yeah. Because I feel like once we got that high point of him dealing with his demons, in a sense, right? Yeah. Dealing with how he views the people he's killed. Mm-hmm. Once we got past that point, it literally felt like a straight downhill spiral for me.
I agree.
Like, it went from okay to great to just straight down. And then these last few episodes, let's say the last 4 or 3 episodes or so, really, really picked it up.
Yeah. I mean, it went downhill until the KnY episodes. And then that brought it back up, and then it went back down again, and then it brought it back up with that. I bet to other people we just sound so crazy. I don't know how we sound to other people, because our consensus is so different than everybody else's that I don't know how to feel about that. Listen. I am so grateful that y'all listen to us. Okay, I am so grateful that y'all listen to us, because a lot of the stuff we say, we are so on the contrast of everybody else that it seemed like people would just be ready to turn our shit off.
Yeah, it makes sense to us, though. You know what I mean?
Everything we say makes sense, but you know what I think it is? I think it's our reasoning. We always give a valid explanation as to why we don't either like something or why we do like something. And that's what I think. That's why I think people rock with us so much, which, again, we truly appreciate it. The listeners are crazy, as always. I don't know if it's just because we're consistent or y'all actually rock with us, but we are thankful that y'all do rock with us. We truly, truly appreciate it, because, man, I'll be thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, it's crazy, because we say everything that I just be looking on our Twitter feed. People, the Vinland Saga was so perfect, 10 out of 10 season. Oh, it wasn't?
Get it out of here.
Heavenly Delusion is just amazing. That shit is not good.
Yeah, that's and even that, especially after that previous episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro, that was a hard pass. Not even a hard. It was an easy pass.
Yeah. It was very.
I had to hit with a hard door to get out my face.
Sorry, we said we weren't gonna talk about this show ever again, but here we are.
I'm sorry.
But I digress, man. I thought the last 3 episodes of Vinland Saga was probably a culmination of what it should have been the entire season, and it reminded me of the reason why I absolutely loved Vinland Saga, with those 3 episodes, and it's because of the development actually progressing and getting somewhere. You know what I mean? Like the problem is we wouldn't fucking get nowhere before.
Yeah, and I think even like and it could have just been like, let's call it like a season 1 syndrome, right? Where they weren't trying to explain a lot. They really just was doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we found out through the progress, you know, and we've said that before, that's something that we love when our character finds something out, we find it out. But our characters knew stuff. We were just progressing with the characters, and it had to me what felt like a much better storytelling that I wish that this season 2 could rival. But when this season 2 got in its bag on the storytelling, it was really like, it really felt like it was in its bag, because even when we got to that.
This is a spoiler tell, spoiled stuff. So I cut it out.
It's like, it's very Thorfinn without being the Thorfinn that we got in the first season. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It felt like we got that energy from Thorfinn again.
Sorry,
like,
slight spoilers, by the way. I should have.
I apologize. I wasn't trying to tell what Thorfinn was talking about, but you know what I mean, though.
Right.
That conversation in itself felt like we got Thorfinn back in a sense, you know?
Yeah, and that's what it was. That's truly what it was. It got better at the end. Moral of that story.
Yeah.
Our next week, though, we are going to touch on the spring season in depth, and then go into in-depth discussions on episode 1s of the stuff we got for the summer. So please be excited for that. But right now, we're here to talk about the TOTS, which is the topic of the show. The Demon Slayer review, man. The official Mic Check Waifu review of Demon Slayer. To put it in perspective, we kind of got known for our reviews because we use an in-depth review scale that go a little bit something like this. Each one of us as individual hosts, we rate the show in 5 different categories. The 5 different categories that we rate individually is pacing, plot, animation, sound design, and characters. We rate those 5 categories on a 20-point scale, which a 20-point scale, for those of you that don't know, is 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, etc. Then we take the averages of those 5 categories and break down those averages per individual host. And then we put those overall scores together in an overall score to give you the official Mic Check Waifu scale review in full, in its entirety. So when you will understand it when we start the review, but we like to talk about, those 5 categories in depth. We like to talk about our thoughts on them. And before we get into that, but yeah, let's get this thing started, Till. First and foremost, let's give overall thoughts, and then obviously this is going to be full of spoilers, but general thoughts of Demon Slayer season 3, the Swordsmith Village arc.
I think as an overall arc, I'm gonna say it was great. There are obviously parts that I had issues with, but as its totality, it's great. I think it was 100% worth that watch. Action was it. A lot of the overall impact, especially the emotional impact, because I feel like in this season compared to the previous season, there's a lot more emotional impact, specifically closer to the end. But there was a lot more emotion in this season, so I felt like this was also. That was another thing that really pulled, I guess, something out of this season that was just overall better.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the same thing you said, plus the overarching narrative, the explanation of what's truly going on. Like when you put Demon Slayer in perspective, and I said this last week on the spoiler half of the show, but when you put Demon Slayer in perspective, it's very cool to see that demons are not demons from hell, right? Just like the sword abilities aren't really there. Like I know a lot of people have issues with that, but I'm not one of them, because I think the ability to visually represent realistic combat, and yes, it's obviously exaggerated because it's a fucking anime, but like to still be able to do that, I feel like it's just fire. It's fire. It's so fire. And then to get the backstory of the main villain, to see what he's really going after, to understand his motivations, to understand that these are just mutated humans with with the unavailability of going into sunlight is just extremely that detail that we got within this season was fire to me, man. It was so great. As simple as Demon Slayer plot is, for you to have something like that still makes it good to watch, makes it entertaining. And the fact that they can entertain you with such a simple plot is special. It's very special.
That's the beauty of it, because I think you're kind of sitting at the same, what you said is exactly what I think we agreed on last week, is that the fact that it's so simple, but the detail is very important in its simplicity, is what makes that a lot of that plot just like stellar. It's kind of sickening how it's able to make something so simple good. It's almost like I wish Dragon Ball could do something like that.
You know what I'm saying? And I know it takes time to to build up something like this, but again, it don't have to be convoluted. It doesn't have to be mysterious. It doesn't have to be extremely deep as far as depth goes. Like, it doesn't have to be that to be good, and it's not, but it's good. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's just I don't know, man. Demon Slayer haters gonna hate, but
what's that line? Keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly. So, with that being said, let's get into this review. Let's see. The first thing we're going to start off with that's on the top of this list is animation. Animation is the direction, the scenery, the art style, the overall visual fidelity of the entire series. I guess I could start off with this. Mm-hmm. It's ufotable. It's Demon Slayer. It's unbelievably beautiful. Even the CG that was more prominent than previous seasons were some of the most beautiful CG I've ever seen implemented in my entire life.
Easily, Demon Slayer haters gonna hate.
Yeah. And it was unbelievable. I don't think there was a time where I was disappointed with the animation. Obviously, right? Obviously. So for me, animation is a 10.
Objectively, I don't have to really explain nothing more. The only time I've seen animation that was on par was when Ufotable was animating Fate. so yeah, I'm a rock with Polo on this one. It's obviously a 10.
All right, next on the list, this might be a quick review. Next on the list is sound design. So that's the soundtrack, that's the overall sound effects, that's how the sound impacted each scene that it was implemented in. And it's your turn to start.
Sonically, this is obviously, all right, just hear me out, y'all, because this is Demon Slayer. Sonically, this is an amazing anime. You can feel the care that they put into the sound, and I always talk about this, but it's something I love. When things go quiet and it's meant to be quiet, that is literally my favorite thing when it comes to thinking about where to place sound. Mm-hmm. The utter silence, even in the moment when Nezuko goes out and she clenches her fist and the only thing you hear is her actually clenching her fist, nothing else was making a sound at that point. To me, that's impactful. That's impactfulness. And the dedication they have to that sound design is amazing. So the sound design for me is a 10.
Wow. Okay. Beautiful music. The music is something that I think is probably more important to me than sound effects in general. But the music is special, and then the breathing techniques always were beautifully done as well. I am a very, very, very sonically I'm infatuated with good sound. And there was times, and I don't know, there was a few times where I don't know if it was Crunchyroll's buffering where the sound just didn't sound that great for me, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And it's because I have the whole kit and caboodle when it comes to sounds and stuff like that. Expensive headphones, expensive soundboards, all that shit. Like, I'm very, very, very thick on sound. So there was a lot of times where this season in particular, where I wasn't too happy with what I was hearing, but it wasn't bad in any sense of the word. Like, it wasn't a 4 or 5 or anything like that. It was just not as good as the usual Demon Slayer sound quality for me personally. So for me, this gets an 8.5. Now, it's not a bad score, but I just don't think it had what the Mugen Train had, or like, it was just it, and maybe it was because Zenitsu wasn't in it, but it didn't have his thunder breathing technique. Like, the mist breathing technique was just kind of, it wasn't much there, and like just it wasn't much as far as sound design wise that blew me out of the water, but it also was not bad. And again, mostly because I don't know if it was something wrong with it. Probably was something wrong with Crunchyroll, but I will say this, because what I also factor in sound design is the overall levels to the shit, like where sound layer upon layers on each other. You know what I'm saying? So it was good. So the layers of the sounds is what got it up to an 8.5, but wasn't much else outside of the music that was also spectacular. But that's always the case. All right, moving on. The next thing is pacing. So pacing is, obviously, as it sounds, episode to episode, and how strong the story development was, and how it progressed the overarching story. Episode to episode, and how strong the story development was. For me, pacing.
You start this one.
Yep. This one was a bit of a struggle at times. It was, again, 2 episodes that were like, okay, you had the beginning. The beginning was Demon Slayer slow. It was, hey, here's what's going on. You know, here's what happened. Here's how we were recovering. Here's what our next move is. First 3 episodes, I'm okay with that. Episode 4 comes, we get into the shit, and 5, 6, and I think 7, we were in the shit. We were just in it. And I thought that was the most, and I think I said it during the review, that was the most perfect pacing that this show has had since its inception. And then an episode came that just kind of fucking literally stopped me in the tracks. Put my feet in molasses. Shut me the fuck up. Because I was disappointed. And it's not that the story was bad. I mean, the story was very cliche with the Mist Hashira, what he got. It was what everybody's problem is. It was demons killing their family and them getting the motivation to fight back. It was just that. But it was that and the sloggiest, slowest, most terrible placed episode pace there ever was. They reminded me of season 4 of My Hero, where it was like you put these cutscenes in the middle of something that was just unbearably, like that you just couldn't miss it. And when you get that excitement about something and then you just snatch it away from us like that, it does not feel good. That never felt good for me. So, and that happened twice. The second time wasn't as bad, but it was rough enough in the 11th, because this is only 11 episode series, that I felt it, and it took me out of the show big time. So for the pacing, I'm gonna go with a 7.5.
I feel like you're trying to be like me now.
Wait, what?
So everything you said, I agree with, right? Because if those 2 episodes had been done properly, in a sense, right? Like if they had placed those things properly, I feel like I still wouldn't have given this like a 10 in terms of pacing, but it would have been like closer to like a 9, like a 8.5, 9, right?
I agree.
And then the issue you have is that you do have those 2 moments where it just feels sluggish. Like that one episode when we got the Miss Hashira's backstory, that felt like a 40-minute episode.
Man.
I don't know why I felt like I was still watching way longer than I needed to be watching for. And that hour-long episode felt like a 20-minute episode. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So I don't understand how something so boring, in a sense, got turned up like that. Because they didn't need to make that long. They could have cut that almost all of that out.
Yeah, it was literally, and it was the placing of that. Like, why there?
And it was shorter than the Love Hashira stuff, right? Like they hit the Love Hashira stuff kind of on the head and then kept it moving. But the Miss Hashira, it felt like his stuff was like beginning of his episode, they gave us a break from that. Then it was like middle of his episode, slight break from that, straight to the end of the episode. It was like it took up majority of his episode, and it was like, yo, we could have killed this demon by now. But yeah, I'm giving it a 7.5. It just is what it is at this point. And that was not, pacing is not their strongest suit, but once it gets going, it's in there. It's going.
I agree.
They just dropped the ball on 2 episodes, which out of 11 is too many.
It's too many, man. Especially again, it's all and it's not that those episodes were bad. They were not bad episodes. It was just the placement of those episodes just did not work. It did not work at all. Next up in the scale, shout out to this anime rating little sheet that we got is phenomenal. Maybe one day I'll give y'all a little background look into it, but it's fucking great. It's so good. I digress. The next one is plot. So plot is obviously, as it sounds, it's overall thoughts on the storytelling, the writing, and how impactful that was to you while watching this season. Your turn to start.
So I'm gonna just say this to preface this. I'm not sure Polo gonna agree with me on this one. And I'm just gonna say my rating for the plot is relatively high. And I'm saying it's high because that last kind of thing that we talked about, where it came into Nezuko, spoiler, being able to walk in the sun, where she conquers the sun, and Muzan seeing his goal that we didn't really know was his end goal. And now just the idea of how things are going to go into fruition now, that upped the plot for me. Because realistically beforehand, the plot was, we're going to the Swordsmith village, train, get better sword, get a new sword, demon shows up, kill demon, right? That in itself made the plot jump up for me, because beforehand I was going to say it's cookie cutter. You're just going to go kill something, you train an arc or whatever. So the plot goes to an 8 for me out of 10, because that Muzan thing, realistically, that if that had been almost feel like it's going to guarantee that the plot for next season is higher, almost, because that's just such a dope execution of it. So yeah, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, everything that I said earlier at the beginning of this is it rang true here. This was probably the better plots of the entire season outside of season 1 when it came to the development, because I think the character development in season 1 was probably the best it's been, and then the plot of this one was better, because even though it was a small snippet of a long episode, the musing thing, getting that background and his motivations, understandable. He's a fucking psychopath. He's a mutated human. He's looking for this particular I guess you can call it cure for an issue that he has, to then basically, do basic shit. But it was told so well this particular season that I can't even talking about the Nezuko thing where she conquers the sun. The way they explained that with the lady talking about, hey, I've been examining her blood mixed with other demons' blood and finding ways to reverse the effects of Muzan's ability to turn demons. And then watching Nezuko, I don't know what's special about her, but she's able to fucking manipulate. Her blood is constantly evolving, it's constantly changing, and that was so important to this entire thing. That I'm like, oh shit, that's so fucking cool.
It ties in season 1 stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From every season, there's something tying into it. It's kind of dope. Yeah. Can I give it an 8.5?
Let's change that to an 8.5. Okay. Yeah. And to be fair, that's exactly where I was with mine. 8.5. Again, while it's simple, and the reason, if it was, while it's simple, it's still effective. It's still effective, and it's very, 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 very good. Very, very, very good. And then moving on to the final category of this Demon Slayer Swordsmith Village arc review. That's characters. Characters are how much you like, grew attached to sides, main characters, villains, etc. How do you feel about the overall characters and character development of this season in particular?
You got to go first on this one, bro.
Oh, yes, right.
Bro,
for me, to be honest, love Hashira, getting her little story and just getting her in general. I wish it was flipped. I wish we got the more of her and the less of the Mist, because the Mist, I'm gonna be honest with you, was not as interesting. He was not as interesting. He was actually relatively boring as far as like Hashira and people go in general in this show. He wasn't like the our guy, what's his name, with the 3 wives. He wasn't as entertaining and as fun as him, or anything like that. So he just wasn't that great for me. So that aside, The Nezuko development was special. The Love Hashira, the little bit of time we got with her, I wish we got more of, was special. I'm going to give this one, and then I guess the little bit of growth we did get with Tanjiro, because every time he fights it, we just see how much he's grown from the past and how much better he got with analyzing and determining ways to approach different situations. Like this time, yeah, he fought more uppers, but he wasn't. You didn't feel like he was as afraid as he was when he fought uppers before. He took his past experience and utilized it to help him conquer even worse foes this time, and I absolutely love that. So for me, the characters get an 8. The music too. The music development was also dope.
So I gave it an 8 as well, just to start off with that. But the reason I gave it an 8 was because there was no one in this season I particularly hated. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I even thought like the art demon for a demon was cool in a sense. You know what I mean? And it could just be my artistic interest and whatnot. But it was nice to even have these demons being so counter to each other. The characters were even counter to each other, so they all gave us different elements. Like, I agree with Polo. The Mist Hashira was not the most interesting one, but he stayed true to his character the entire time, all the way through his development even. So even when it got to the point to where he became a, let's not say different person, but he came out of that shell of himself that he was. Mm-hmm. That was a better character version of that character even, right? Like he even became a better character in that sense. Everybody kind of had some kind of growth in here, and then we even got the introduction, like getting to really see what KnY is doing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I did like the KnY stuff. There
was a lot of stuff that I really liked. The Swordsmith who has been doing Tanjiro's sword, asking Tanjiro if he broke the sword after using it even. Yeah. There were no characters I particularly hated in this season. So they were cool or whatever, nothing, but there was just no character that really, really blew me away outside of the obvious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would have liked to have been actually blown away outside of the obvious. Because Love Hashira was cool. She didn't blow me away. Miss Hashira was okay. He ain't blow me away. Demons was cool. They ain't blow me away. But like Muzan, Tanjiro, and Nezuko blew me away. But that's what they supposed to do. So
and that's why it brings it down to an 8, because this could have been much higher for sure. I think both of our aspects.
Season, we had other characters that was blowing us away. You know, even the demon in last season really blew us away in a sense. I mean, that was a better demon even. So this season, it just no character specifically outside of our main ideas would blow us away.
That's a fact. And with that wraps the Demon Slayer review. Let me go give you a rundown of what we got going on here. So now what we do is we take our each individual scores and we average them out. So for example, Telle gave animation a 10. Polo gave animation a 10. Sound design, Telle gave it a 10. Polo gave it an 8.5. Pacing, Polo gave it a 7.5. Telle gave it a 7.5. Plot, Polo gave it an 8.5. Telle gave it an 8.5. Characters, Telle gave it an 8. Polo gave it an 8. So Polo's overall score for Demon Slayer is 8.5. Telle's overall score for Demon Slayer is an 8.8, which brings the total Mic Check Waifu official review of Swordsmith Village points is an 8.65.
That's crazy.
That's wild. This might be what's crazy is this is just above the second season. And that's something.
It is something.
Yeah, here it is. Demon Slayer. I'm adding it to our list. Swordsmith Village arc. All right. To give you a rundown of Demon Slayer in itself, Demon Slayer season 1 got an 8.8. Oh, thank you. Demon Slayer. Because wait, where's the? Because didn't we rate the movie different?
Actually, did we even rate the movie?
Or did we consider it in this arc in its entirety?
You know what? Maybe that is what we did because it is in part of that arc technically.
Yep. Okay. So that Mugen Train arc in movie, we gave a 8.5. And then this one, we gave an 8.65. And what we said we were going to do is when all of these seasons are done, we are going to give an overall score of the Demon Slayer in its entirety by averaging these scores that we have now together to give us what we think is going to be. Wow. Interesting fact that it's above the Mugen Train arc. What you think? Do you think that's proper?
I think the only reason it's down is because of or is this because I gave the sound design a 10. I think we probably just
I'm tripping. I'm so sorry.
What's that?
That's not the Mugen Train arc. That's the Entertainment District arc.
Yeah.
I'm tripping. Okay, sorry. It's Entertainment District arc. We rated it above the Entertainment District, which is surprising.
Yeah, I do think that's surprising. Like I said, I think the only reason is because I gave the sound design a 10. We got to go back and see what we rated differently there. But I get a sound design a 10. I know I just hear it on my surround sound system, which I know hearing it through headphones is definitely going to always be different. So, yeah. But yeah, I gave it a 10 for the sound design, but I'm pretty sure I gave the sound design in that season a 10 too. So,
where's the Mugen Train? Because we definitely reviewed it. That's confusing.
Maybe we'll have to go back and find the episode and just add it on here.
Yeah, that's probably possibly what we got to do. Yeah, man. To be honest, above Entertainment District arc, I don't think so. I think the impact of the entertainment. Well, you know what it is? I think it was the plot, because the plot of this one is much more advancing, impactful. Yeah. So maybe this is right. This is absolutely right. I'm bugging. I'm definitely bugging. Okay. You know what? I'm happy with that. I'm definitely happy with that. All right. So let's run down the list of reviews that we've done in the past to give you guys what it's looking like. Okay. So I'm gonna start from the top down. Our number one highest reviewed shows are Summertime Rendering, which got a 10, Astra Lost in Space, which have a 10, KnY, which is a 9.8. The My Teen Romantic Comedy series has a 9.45, sorry. Fire Force has a 9.3 at number 5. Grimgar, Fantasy and Ash at number 6 has a 9.3. The Promised Neverland season 1. We took away the score because we were going to actually take that out. What was the score for Promised Neverland though? I don't remember. Anyway, Vinland Saga 9.25 at season 1, 8 or 9.25. See, you just proves that we used to love Vinland Saga. So those of you that think we hate Vinland Saga for no reason, that's not true. At number 9, we rated Arcane a 9.2. At number 10, Demon Slayer at 8.8. At a number 11, Beastars with an 8.85.
Let's go.
No. Number 12, Erased at an 8.75. Number 13, Steins Gate at an 8.65. Number 14, Vox Machina, season 1, 8.6. Number 15, Demon Slayer, Swordsmith Village Arc, 8.65. Number 16, Entertainment District for Demon Slayer, 8.5. Number 17, Made in Abyss, 8.5. Number 18, Darwin's Game. Oh, Made in Abyss was our guest review, by the way. It was our guest review with Blaname Podcast. So that's an 8.5. Darwin's Game, 8.5. Link Click, 8.45 at number 19. Invincible, 8.45. Number 21, Bungo Stray Dogs, 8.4. Number 22, Chivalry of a Failed Knight, 7.95. Number 23, Gangsta, 7.95. Number 24, My Hero Season 4, 7.9. 25, Tokyo Revenger, 7.85. 26, Dr. Stone, 7.8. 27, Love Flops, 7.4. 5. Number 28, Banana Fish, 7.3. God, that show was awful. Number 29, 91 Days, 6.4. That show was awful. There's 2 that we're missing here. There's the Mugen Train review, and there's JJK Season 1.
Yeah, the Mugen Train review was episode 97. So we got to go back in there and look at that. Because that was episode 97.
And then our JJK was our Knox episode. We never put our review in here. I know there was some stuff missing. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and then we do the episode 129 is another like review from Mugen Train, but that's like probably the full season.
The entertainment.
Yeah.
Was Entertainment District, did that have that train in it? Is that what? Yeah, because they just played the Mugen Train.
Episode was the Mugen Train.
Maybe that's why then.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, no, we don't need to. But yeah, we have to get our JJK one in here too, because that was a review that we did with Knox. So we got to get that put in here ASAP. But yeah, that'll be that for the Demon Slayer review. Now we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to spoil Hell's Paradise, A Galaxy Next Door, and Insomniacs After School. So we'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 208 of Mic Check Waifu Waifu. So we did a little bit of research and we found out that JJK, our episode with Knox, our review of JJK season 1, we actually gave it a 9.8. So that puts it right below KnY at number 4. Interestingly enough.
Good spot for it to be at.
Great spot for it to be at because that season was spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Yeah, so we next review is probably going to be I don't know, probably something sooner than our near one with Rob J. I would say we'll figure that out when we get there because you know
who knows when near's going to be back all the way.
Well, we do know. Did you not know?
I mean I know we talked about it, but I'm being I'm not gonna say asshole. I'm being
let me
extra facetious.
Well, let me just make sure that they know too. The last 4 episodes that's left of Nier Automata are all coming back at the same time in 27 days. So in 27 days, we're going to have all of Nier done. So I'm excited about that because that's when we'll review it with Rob J from Inside the Mind of a Blurred and Shogo High. So it's going to be fun. We talk about Rob J all the time. Now he's finally going to be on the show, which is going to be cool. It's going to be real cool. We don't have a summer layout for 3 people, do we? We're going to have to use the spring one we did with Knox, but I digress. All right. Now, with that being said, let's go into the spoilers of Hell's Paradise, bro. This is going to be episode 12 of Hell's Paradise, by the way.
So the thing that I love about Hell's Paradise right now, right? And I know I've talked to people who haven't necessarily agreed with me, but I love how they explain differences, similarities, and just anything in this show. The explanations feel like on the job training that you actually want.
Yes.
If that makes sense at all. It's on the job training, like when you actually doing the job and they say, all right, we're going to do this right now. I need you to learn how to do this right now. The way they explain it makes you feel like I understand. But this episode, it did a lot. And it kind of hit on the point that I figured we would hit on, but in a way more drastic way. Because it didn't go like all cookie cutter and good, obviously, right?
Right.
Because I assumed that our girl was going to be able to use Tao.
Yeah, of course.
It made sense, right? Mm-hmm. In the Ninja Girl, it makes sense because she's similar to Gabimaru in a way as well, right?
Yep.
That they would have some kind of control over the Tao. The issue is that these Tenzin are actually demons. they really are. They really are built different. Yeah. In a literal and metaphorical way.
Yeah.
So what did you feel about this episode? Just, real quick as an overall.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not gonna hold you. This show is the opposite of Demon Slayer in the best way possible. It's not shallow. It's not basic. It's basically an in-depth version. Again, I'm not drawing an exact comparison. This is by far hype. I'm being extremely hyperbolic when I say this, but this is the more depth version of Demon Slayer. Again, yeah. I know they're completely different. I know that. I'm not, so don't take that as me comparing them and saying that they're so similar. They're not similar at all. But I'm just saying this has the depth that Demon Slayer doesn't. And it's 2 spectrums of 2 different things doing 2 different things extremely well. Something with depth, a deep story and deep lore, and a deep power system being just extremely well done. And then you got Demon Slayer, which is simple, easy to understand plot, which is extremely well done. The fact that I have these versatile shonen in my life makes me extremely happy. This episode was unbelievable to me. I absolutely loved it. I love seeing the raccoon dog fight. You know what I'm saying? And seeing him and seeing him move. Yeah, I mean he could fight. It just goes to show that those executioners, they're there for a reason. They're good folks, man. They're not good folks as in good people, which they are, but they're just like very strong. And the reason why they were chosen was because they're strong. And even the raccoon dog himself, he was strong.
And don't you love how they do the backstory in such a short, timely, but like precise and concise manner? You know what I mean?
Very concise, yes.
We got all the detail we needed in his backstory in a minute and a half, bro. Yeah,
but the only problem with it though is it makes it predictable.
Because you know he's
exactly. That's a death flag. If it like the moment they brought it up and the way they brought it up, it's a death flag.
But hear me out though. What you just said isn't inherently bad, because it sucks that now we know that when we see these kind of things that we know the characters die in a sense, probably, right?
Yes, yeah.
But we also know that the situation they're in is dire. We should continue to expect that more people we'll even begin to care about will die.
Yeah.
In a sense. So I think it would suck if it felt like it was for shock value, which it isn't.
Right.
Because it's definitely going to be for the progression of the story in a sense. You know what I mean?
100%.
So yeah, I mean, I agree with you though. It is very predictable. It's like as soon as you see it, you're like, oh, I was like, yeah, he about to die.
Yeah, he gonna die. Yeah, 100%. And obviously, we knew that from the fight that Gabimaru had with the Tenzin, that they weren't dead. They were going to do that evolution. When he get back to his folk though, his folk gonna be upset. Oh, and you were talking shit about old orange hair guy over here needing more towel, more juice or whatever the fuck. Nah, you need more juice.
Yeah. And the difference is that he got jumped. You know, and Gabimaru was shooting the fair ones. Now hear me out. True. Hear me out though. What's gonna be beautiful, and this is what makes me hype about this, right? Is when the groups come back together. Because they all have different understandings, but the same understanding. Yes. So when they put it together and they're like, this is how we do it, it's going to be crazy.
100%.
Like, these Tenzin it's not going to be, all right, we jump in this one individual Tenzin. They might jump one, but after they take out one officially, that's going to be the last one we take out easy. Yeah, everything else is going to look chaotic.
You know what I like about it though? I like the fact that when we do come back, they're going to all put their knowledge together, and then the Tenzin is not going to be this unbelievable, unstoppable, unfathomable force that they feel like they can't win against. Because now each one of them know that, well, besides our blind guy who's going to find out from the rest of them, that they can't be killed, or that they can be killed, that they are just monsters. They're nothing more than monsters with highly effective regenerative powers and speed and strength. So it's like, hey, now that we know this, now we can move. You know what I'm saying? Now we can move a little bit around this. And that, I think, is special. It's sad that we only have one more episode.
Just for this season.
Yeah, for this season. But it's Mappa. Who knows when it's going to come back.
Now, I mean, if it does extremely well, we got to start advertising. We got to start promoting. but hear me out. How do you feel about the Tenzin, or that Tenzin that we saw, saying that the elixir of life is not there?
I mean, it's not true, obviously.
I agree. That's cap, right? Like it's got to be like a bold-faced lie, because y'all literally are proof that it's there.
Yeah, exactly. But he did mention that it also doesn't help work on humans. They just turn into plants. So, I mean, that doesn't matter. As long as we bring back the elixir and the emperor gets to try it, it don't matter if it fucking turns them into a flower. What do we give a fuck? We just need the pardon. You know what I'm saying?
But we also know, as a factual understanding, we do know that Gabimaru Sensei, his master, technically has been exposed to that elixir of life.
And it's because he has the command of the Tao, right? I think that's the reason why humans turn into flowers, because they can't control their ability with the Tao.
Yeah, but once they can, you know, maybe that will be the difference. But we also know that I'm gonna be real. I think it's gonna kind of suck, but I think that the reality is gonna be that, and this is just speculation because I can be entirely wrong. That gut check. That the only way that they'll be able to do the elixir of life is going to be exactly what they said before. You have to have a masculine and a feminine, and that's how the Tao has to circulate. And I don't think anyone's going to be able to do it as an individual. They'll have to come together. And
it's got to be the yin and the yang thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree. But what is, again, that doesn't matter to Gabimaru. As long as he gets this fucking pot with this rainbow juice in it, take it to the Emperor, get the pardon, we out. So
right.
That's I mean, with him saying there's no elixir, like he's right. Technically, it's not an elixir of life, but as long as as long as they got that jar.
Yeah, as long as I can present it to the Emperor and get away. That's all I care about. That's
all I care about. So gut check. For me, they're all going to convene. I don't know what they're going to do with the other, the other guy who seems to have the best control of the Tau with his ability, since he's been eating the fucking monsters there, to basically regenerate now. Oh, he's going to be a problem. Do you think, and this is a question for a gut check, do you think he's going to become the antagonist to our band of heroes, or is he going to join them as well?
I do think he's going to be a problem eventually.
Yeah.
I think he's going to start off as like he's with our group, and he's going to be someone that has to get taken out because he's probably gone a little too far. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like he's transforming.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even, because he does already show like his parts that he regenerated. They have like the little markings on them that kind of look like vines and stuff now. So yeah, but he has shown to not necessarily turn to the flower when using Tau and ingesting essentially these creatures that have Tau in them. Yeah. So maybe that is also another method of gaining that elixir of life.
Yeah.
Is actually ingesting what sucks is the flesh of these monsters.
Absolutely. It's fucking sick. It's gross. All right, man. Moving on to A Galaxy Next Door. The season finale.
This anime is beautiful. It's beautiful.
Wonderful.
And I think it's so beautiful in the most simplest of ways.
Yes.
It is just blatant love, bro.
Blatant love.
It's outright. You ain't even got to think about it. You know it's going to be some love in this anime. Mm-hmm. And let's be real. We all need some love.
Yes.
And we appreciate the love that y'all be giving to Mic Check Waifu. But let's get some love to A Galaxy Next Door, because, man, bro. It starts, well, this is kind of where I like really kind of like, I guess 100% was like, ooh, this is like in the zone here. But with the kids.
Yes, you know what I mean? Man. Oh.
And kids are near and dear to my heart, obviously. But the way that the kids looking at their older brother, and it's not even necessarily just the kids. The kids are looking at each older sibling in a ladder of sorts, right? The oldest brother is constantly working, trying to make sure everybody has something good. The middle kid, the sister, she's looking at our oldest brother, and she's saying, I want to be as easy. I want to take all of the load off of him that I can.
Because he does so much for us.
Yeah, I'm going to play with our younger brother so that he doesn't feel alone, that someone can be watching him. And the reality is that, yeah, she probably want to do stuff by herself and live a kid life like a regular kid does. And she feels that pressure, and that's real. You know what I mean? Some kids will feel that pressure in real life that, like, I got to take on a more adult role because there's no one else to do it. Yeah. And I love how that was represented. But I also love the fact that the way they talk about stuff in this show is always so adult. It's not like you're listening to high school students talk about these things. These are adults talking to children about, you don't even need to worry about that. Let the adults figure out that I want you to live a life like you are a kid and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And I love this anime for that, because it's blatantly adult conversation in adult situations.
This is why I love Slice of Life, because Slice of Life, this show could have been a live action show with no problem. I mean, outside of the stinger shit and blah, 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 blah. But even with, if none of that was in, even though with that being in, it did impact the story a lot to where it felt so strong. But like, right, it could have been without it and still been extremely good. You know what I'm saying? It could have been just, it was perfection, man, for me. If I had to say that this is probably better than More Than a Married Couple for me. And it's only because of the simple fact is it didn't have any drama and it didn't need it. While it did have some moments that were scary, I guess, technically, it didn't have, because I used to always think slice of life had to be dirty. You know what I'm saying? By dirty, I mean, domestic girlfriend or Scum's Wish or Love Lies. I thought they had to have this drama piece that is just mean and aggressive and strong, but it doesn't. It doesn't. And Angel Next Door proved that. To me, honestly, it could be a pleasant show without needing the drama to be and still be great. And this is one of them, man. This is probably my favorite show of this entire season. Because it was just so easy to digest.
Easily, yeah. So easy to just sit down and watch, and you don't have to miss anything. You just sit down and look at the screen, and you just like take it all in. Yeah. But I agree, and it's not that I necessarily thought, because I'm not a person who need any drama in my life. I don't care about drama in the slightest.
Yeah.
But seeing this slice of life and the minuscule amount of drama, because I'm gonna be real with you, I don't care about what nobody, mama and daddy think. That's my wife or that's my woman.
Yep.
I want your respect, but if you tell me I can't have it, I ain't gonna ask for it. Ain't no drama. That's just what it is. And the beauty of it is that they almost even went that route where it was like, I know y'all don't want us to be together.
Yep.
But we're going to pursue our love. And that's why, like, I agree with you when you said there's no drama in this show, because it really doesn't feel like there's any drama in this show. It's just cultivation of love and adult situations and how we get through these adult situations in the simplest manner, which is just talking and addressing the situation. And people need to watch it.
100% people need to watch it. And I think that the way that the main character, Ichiro, I think his name was, the way that Ichiro was depicted was fucking perfect, man. He had to grow up so early just to take care of his smaller brother and sister. And I think he's one of my favorite MCs, man, in the slice of life realm, to be honest, because he's just that likable.
I can see that.
He's totally just that likable. And it's just incredible. This is just an incredible show. Obviously there's going to be more. Hopefully there's going to be a season 2 announced. I'm looking on to see if there's any forums about it. Not yet. 69%.
Despicable.
Absolutely despicable, because this is an easy 85, 90 show. I wonder how it's only 6 volumes, so it's not a lot of manga associated with it. And it started April of 2020 and ended on May of 2023. So if I had to guess, this season, first season probably covered the first 3 volumes, and the next season probably cover the last 3, which is a total of 36 chapters. So I could see us getting more of this, and I'm okay with that.
Hell yeah, I'm okay with it too. I want more. 100%. Give me more calmness in my life.
Straight up. All right, what do you want to see from next season if we get it?
I want to see. So I know we got a decent amount with the kids, but I want to see, I guess, like more interaction with those kids. You know, them officially together. I would like to see the actual saying like, yes, we're officially together. But I would even be okay with like a slight time skip. They've been together for a couple months, but they're still working through stuff.
Interesting.
And now they're learning how to love each other on a level that's just like, how do we live together like this? You know what I mean? Because they've been living together as love interests, but not actually as lovers in a sense, right? Mm-hmm. So I would like to see them in that situation, actually being lovers, presenting themselves around others as lovers. And then I do want to see, I want to see them go to the island and address that as well.
Yeah. What's interesting is that just talking about this is kind of very, very interesting, because at the end of the episode, it kind of looked like she proposed right there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then everybody starts saying congratulations and kind of like that engagement was official, but it just seems like everybody now understands that they're together and then they want to see them succeed. So I'm thinking, I'm with you. I'm thinking I want to see this progress further in the way of like, let's, kiss. Let's, be more comfortable with each other and try to get to know each other on a more intimate level. Again, it doesn't have to have the sex or anything like that. It's just I just want more affection and more intimacy.
Yeah, normalize their actual showing of affection.
Exactly right. So with that, it's just like I'm ready to see that. And then going to the island, because time skip, you'll have to do a time skip because she has a whole nother year there, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to get a time skip, and then them on the island would probably be fucking huge. So we see how she was treated, and I kind of want him to. What I want to see is that I want him to stand up and step up. Like, listen, this is the situation. You are a great mother, and I understand where you're coming from, but she has opened up. She has become her own person, and I want you to realize that. I want you to see that, and I want to show you that even though I haven't been stung or the stinger has been removed, I'm still in love with this girl, and there's nothing you can do about it. I want some shit like that. Maybe that's me wanting a slight drama, but I don't, I'm for it.
And I'm gonna be real with you, because hear me out. I don't think that's gonna happen, and the only reason I say that is because I don't think that if they actually get together and they go visit the island, the mother's even gonna bring it up anymore. Like, she might be distantly upset, right? Yeah. But I don't see her continuing the conversation if they come visit the island and together introduce themselves as together, right? But what I do see is the rest of the islanders not being okay. And that's where I kind of want to see the adversity. I want to see him step up in adversity in terms of being like, this is my wife now, or this is who I'm with. And, she loves you all. She wants to be with you all. And I want to be here with you all as well. And I want to learn to love you all, that kind of. And that's where I think it'll end up going, more so than what I actually said I wanted. I think it's going to go that way, where they have to go to the island and kind of quell the people of the island.
Yeah, I don't see him staying on the island though, because of his family, because of his apartment, because of all that shit. So I love the idea though. I do love the idea.
Yeah, I think they just gonna visit. I don't think they're gonna stay, because he can't do that with the kids.
True that. Okay, and then moving on to final, last but not least, Insomniac After School. Another banger.
I wish I chose this one as my sleeper.
While this one's not done, we have one more episode, which is next week, and we're going to talk about that in detail, obviously. But this episode was huge, man. It was a big one. Crazy progress.
A lot of what I love about this anime is similar to A Galaxy Next Door, in the sense of like, it's not a lot of drama. No, it's so simple in terms of like what the narrative technically is, and it's just how it unfolds, right? In the beginning, yes, we assume that there's going to be some kind of love story, you know what I mean? But in the moment, obviously, when he gave his speech about how he's been enjoying his time lately,
right? Because
he knows that tomorrow is going to go right back to the regular, where he's not going to be okay. You know what I mean? Because let's be real. He has insomnia. We know the man is going through some kind of depression and other stuff in his life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He loves his dad, but his dad is that's not saying negligent, because his dad loves him, but his dad cannot. He's not aware enough to be able to actually look at him and figure out what his kids' issues are.
You know what that is?
Negligence.
No, not at all. It's Gunta not wanting to be that burden. And we talk about that often. Being a burden to somebody is the absolute worst feeling when you are struggling. And this is why he's struggling with insomnia, because he's scared that when he wakes up that his dad is going to be gone, like his mom was. His mom just got up and left him. And then put everything on his father, and he saw the stress in his father, and he did whatever he can, like not wanting to get new shoes, even though he was out growing his shoes. Like he don't want to be that burden. And I think that that depiction and that description, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
And when he kind of goes to that moment where he explains that, it almost made me think about when she was talking about how she couldn't go to sleep because she was worried about tomorrow not waking up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And it's almost kind of crazy because they both have that same thing where they don't want to go sleep because if they wake up, tomorrow is going to be worse or different than what it was today.
Exactly right.
And it's kind of beautiful because they're going through the same thing, but it's different. And they can appreciate each other for those same things, even though they're different. And then, you know, when she leaned in and gave him that kiss, I was like, yep.
Yep. Yep. That was big, man. That was big because now we got progress. And that's what I love more than anything is fucking progress. Yeah. While we were always getting progress towards the quote unquote overarching, which is the overarching is technically their relationship together. But the way they depicted it is that they made the overarching the star stuff, the astronomy club stuff, the taking the pictures and being in that competition and shit like that. But really, the overarching story is the relationship between these two with a similar issue coming together and finding young love.
Mm-hmm. And just hear me out. The beauty in the fact that our boy was like, I'm so excited, I don't even want to go to sleep. And then he passed out. I was like, yo, this anime is fire.
It's so good.
Like, yo, my heart. I was like, yo, I remember being this happy actually recently, but being that happy where it's like you actually are so happy you're just calm. Mm-hmm. That's an amazing feeling.
It's a relaxing feeling.
And that's what made me give this episode of the week this week was that like I was like, yo, that was amazing. That was astonishing. I thoroughly enjoyed that because let's be real. There's a lot that happened in this episode that was like things are happening. This is what we always expected. And then they kind of sprinkled in that progress, like we said. But when it finally got to that point, you know what I mean? It was like, it was fulfilling because it's finally what we were looking for.
Right.
And what she said also even was great. You know what I mean, bro? She said, hold up. We're not going to talk about that yet until our trip is over. Let's enjoy this trip for what it is right now.
Not make it weird.
Yeah, let's not make it weird. But I loved it because yes. And my boy went home. He was like, I'm good. I'm ready to go to sleep.
Yeah. That's what I love the fact that like she did that, but does she not like realize that he likes her too? Is that what that was?
I'm sure she does.
Right.
She has to realize, right?
Right.
But she might not realize his overall shy and nervousness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like everything that's led up to this point, the independent podcast that they share only with each other.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. That's love.
That's love. That's love, bro.
What else could that be?
That is 100% love. Ah, man, I love this. I love this so much.
Well, we got a final episode in about 10 hours.
10 hours because it drops on Monday. We record on Sunday. So by the time you're hearing this, the show's already done. So that's why I always avoided making Insomniacs after school to spoiler talk, because the spoiler talk is pointless because the new episode is already done aired and passed by the time that people hear this. But
right.
It was just good to talk about for once this time. And with that being said, I'm at Polo Born Fly on all social media.
I'm at King Taliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram. And as always, Mike check.
I'm going to take you to the Mile High Club.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu. Is that you? that you? Is that you? Is that you?